Dear students, viewers and the subscribers, welcome to the IAS Mentor. This would be our lecture number 120 in the series Indian Polity. So you are almost coming to the end of the series. So 4 to 5 lectures, probably I'll complete this particular series. And we almost covered most of the important topics. I would say almost all the important topics. And now few miscellaneous topics are pending here and there. And one such topic that I'm going to discuss today is the official languages. Although UPSC has not asked much questions from this particular area, if you see the last 25 to 30 years of the previous year questions, but still I wanted to cover this particular topic so that the students have a good idea about the official languages also. And what the constitution says with regard to the official languages under the Constitution of India. So there's a specific part in the constitution. So I'll deal with as to what this particular part 17 of the constitution, right from article 343 to article 351 of the constitution, deals with official languages. Under this particular part, we'll deal with what is the official languages to be in case of the union, what shall be the official languages in case of the states, what shall be the official languages in case of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. So we'll try to understand all those things as we'll proceed in this particular lecture. And again, I'm repeating, UPSC has not asked many questions, but it is important for you as a student preparing for the examination to have an idea about the official languages in case of India as well. So as I already said, we'll first try to understand as to what is official languages to be used for the purpose of the union, then the states, then the Supreme Court and the High Courts. So what the constitution says when it comes to the official languages of the union. When I say official language of the union, the official language of the center, and that is given under article 343 of the constitution. So what is article 343 of the constitution says? Article 343 of the constitution very categorically and very clearly says what shall be the official language of the union. The official language of the union shall be Hindi in Devanagari script. So Hindi is a language, and how to write that particular language will be on the basis of a Devanagari script. So this would be the official language of India. So therefore it is very important that under the constitution does not recognize any national language. The constitution only recognizes what is called as an official language, and as per the constitution, what shall be the official language of India? Hindi in Devanagari script. And when it comes to numbers, international form of Indian numerals. So these are all to be officially recognized or officially recognized under the constitution. Now the most important thing is the Hindi the only official language recognized under the constitution, or is it the international form of Indian numerals? Is that the only official form of numerals recognized under the Indian constitution? So here is a catch that you have to understand. So apart from Hindi in Devanagari script and international form of Indian numerals, for the first 15 years after the commencement of the constitution, the constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. So for the first 15 years after the commencement of the constitution, in addition to Hindi in Devanagari script and in addition to the international form of Indian numerals, English can also continue to be an official language. That is for how many years? For the first 15 years, English shall also continue to be the official language, because English was used as the official language in India before the commencement of the constitution. Therefore, the constitution came into force on 26 January 1950. That means till 1965, the constitution itself authorizes English shall continue to be an official language. Irrespective of whatever is given in the constitution, English shall continue to be an official language. So try to understand, at the commencement Hindi in Devanagari script, but in addition to that, what was also recognized? English shall also continue as an official language, because before the commencement English was an official language. Now suddenly after the commencement, if you change everything into Hindi, it will create some administrative problems or administrative inconvenience. To avoid that, the Constituent Assembly decided English shall continue for the first 15 years. Alright. In addition to that, Hindi may also there, but definitely English is also likely to continue. But here is again the important thing that you have to understand. Article 343 further says, in addition to whatever is given in the constitution, that is under Article 343, which talks about Hindi shall be the official language. For the first 15 years, English shall be the official language. In addition to this, in addition to whatever is given in the constitution, there's one more provision under Article 343, which says that the president by an order, in addition to whatever you already learned, the president may by an order may allow for what? May allow for during the first 15 years, in addition to English being an official language, during the first 15 years, the president shall authorize the use of Hindi language in addition to the English and Devanagari form of Indian numerals to be an official language in India. So try to understand the official language. Let me just combine all those things now to have a broader understanding. At the commencement of the constitution, what shall be the official language? Hindi in Devanagari script and the international form of Indian numerals. Irrespective of this provision, for the first 15 years, still what would continue to be an official language? English shall continue to be an official language. So English will continue to be the official language for the first 15 years. Despite English being the official language for the first 15 years, the president can make an order, and by that order he can also simultaneously allow Hindi also to be the official language. And not only Hindi to be an official language, but he can also allow for Devanagari form of numerals to be an official language in addition to international form of Indian numerals. So all these things are possible in the first 15 years. So therefore, for the first 15 years, despite Hindi being the official language, generally English should continue. But if the president by an order allow for Hindi to be an official language in Devanagari script, Hindi can also continue along with Devanagari form of Indian numerals. So this is what you will have to understand with regard to the official languages in our country. But despite all those things, there is another catch. Despite all those things, the constitution under Article 343 says that the parliament shall have the power to provide by law that even after the 15 years is over, the parliament shall have the power to allow for what is called as English language or as the official language, or the Devanagari form of numerals to be part of the official languages even after the 15 years. But this is possible only if the parliament is making a law. If the parliament does not make a law, then what would be the official language of India after 15 years? It would be Hindi in Devanagari script and the international form of Indian numerals. So this is what is the original provision. This will continue after 15 years. But even after 15 years, who can change this? The parliament may by a law. If they want it, they can change it. They can allow English to continue as an official language. In addition to, they can also have Devanagari form of numerals as well. Now, in this regard, do we have any law? Yes. The Official Languages Act 1963, even before the first 15 years, the Official Languages Act was passed. And in 1963, the Official Languages Act allowed English to continue as an official language. Till the time this law is repealed, English can continue as an official language. So therefore, as per the constitution, what shall be the official language of India? Hindi in Devanagari script and the Indian form of international numerals. But for the first 15 years, this may not come into force. For the first 15 years, English should continue to be an official language because for the purpose of ease of administration. But during the 15 years, if the president wants, the president can specify an order. By that order, simultaneously can allow Hindi to be an official language along with Devanagari form of numerals can also be used as an official language. But after 15 years, can English continue to be an official language? No, only Hindi can be an official language, but unless and until the parliament makes a law in this regard. But however, in 1963, the parliament has made a law allowing English to continue as an official language till the time the law is there. So English is continuing to be an official language even today. So today, if you see, English as well as Hindi continue to be the official language of our country. And by virtue of the Official Languages Act 1963, English is continuing to be an official language. So this is with regard to the official language of the Union. But what about the languages when it comes to states? Now we'll have to understand about the states as well. But before we go to the official languages of the states, we shall also look into Article 344 of the Constitution, that is the language of the Union. So let us try to understand. With regard to the language of the Union, we shall take into account this Article 344 of the Constitution. So what is Article 344 of the Constitution talks about? Article 344 of the Constitution talks about a language commission and a parliamentary committee to be used for the official purpose. A language commission and a parliamentary committee to be used for what is called as official purpose. So what is this language commission and a parliamentary committee. This parliamentary committee is basically review the opinion or the recommendation that is given by language commission. Now, as per 344 of the constitution, 5 years after the commencement of the constitution and thereafter after 10 years after the commencement of the constitution, the president shall appoint what is called as a language commission. This language commission is a very broad body which is going to look into or which is going to make certain recommendations to the president. And in fact, the constitution says that this language commission shall have representation from all the languages that is mentioned in the 8th schedule of the constitution. So we'll discuss in a separate lecture with regard to the 8th schedule, So with regard to the 8th schedule, but what is given in the constitution is, the constitution is saying that the commission that will be appointed by the president under Article 344 will have the representation from all the languages in the 8th schedule. So therefore, in the 8th schedule, if you see, today there are 22 languages. So how many languages are mentioned? So this commission that is appointed by the president under Article 344 of the constitution shall have representation from all these 22 languages, members and chairpersons from all these 22 languages, and then commission shall be appointed by the president 5 years after the commencement of the constitution and then 10 years after the commencement of the constitution. And what is a function that is to be performed by this commission is also prescribed in Article 344. So what does the constitution says with regard to their function? We'll try to understand. It is saying that it is the duty of the commission, it shall be the duty of the commission to discuss about the progressive use of Hindi language. So the commission shall study and they shall recommend how Hindi shall be used as a progressive language. That's one thing. And then the second thing is restriction on the use of English language. So how the English language shall be restricted and Hindi shall be used as a more progressive language. But however, when you restrict the use of English language, because English was not to be a continuously used as an official language. It is only by the parliamentary law we are allowing it, but in the longer run, Hindi should be more progressively used. So in that regard, the commission shall give the recommendation. But however, at the same time, while making this recommendation, the commission should also look into, then when you restrict the use of English language, it should not have any impact upon the development of the people. The industrial, the scientific, the cultural development of the people should not get impacted. So in this way, they have to make the recommendation. And of course, the languages to be used for the purpose of Supreme Court and High Court. So what languages shall be used in the Supreme Court, High Court and Parliament? The form of numerals to be used and any other matter referred to the commission by the president. So there are few functions that the commission has to perform is given in the constitution itself. Now apart from that, whatever function the commission is to perform is to be determined by the President of India, and to that extent the President may give the recommendation. To that extent the commission may give the recommendation to the President of India. Apart from that, as I already said, while making these recommendations, the commission shall take into account that when they make the recommendation, these recommendations should not have any impact upon the industrial, scientific and the cultural development of the people. So without affecting that, they have to make the recommendation. And whenever once a commission makes the recommendation, then this commission recommendation will be scrutinized by a parliamentary committee. And what shall be the composition of that parliamentary committee is also mentioned in the constitution. So the committee shall comprise of 20 plus 10 members, that is 20 members from the Lok Sabha and 10 members from the Rajya Sabha. And the members are to be elected respectively from their houses. That is 20 members are to be elected from Lok Sabha, 10 members are to be elected from the Rajya Sabha. And what is their primary function is to scrutinize the report of this language commission. And the language commission will be scrutinized by the parliamentary committee for the further action which is to be taken up by the parliament. So now try to understand the very purpose of this language commission is to make some recommendations, especially to more use of Hindi languages and to restrict the other languages, but in the sense the English language. But at the same time, they shall not have any impact upon the development of our country, especially in the industrial, scientific and the cultural development. So without compromising this, the commission have to make the recommendation. And the commission shall have members from all the languages specified in the 8th schedule of the constitution. And such a commission shall be appointed by the president 5 years after the commencement and thereafter 10 years after the commencement of the constitution. And such a commission report shall be studied by a parliamentary committee which shall comprise of 30 members, 20 members from Lok Sabha, 10 members from Rajya Sabha, and all these members are elected from the respective houses. So this is again a constitutional mandate as per Article 344. So that is with regard to the official language of the union. Now let us get into the official language of the states. And once we are done with the official language of the states, then we'll have to do with the official language of the Supreme Court and the High Courts. So with that, the official languages part are over. Now when you come to the official languages of the states, so what is the constitution is saying? The constitution does not give any specific language as the official language of the state. Rather, it is giving the power to the concerned state legislature to decide the official languages. So what it is saying, the legislature of the state may by a law adopt one or more languages or Hindi as the official languages of the state. So when it comes to the state, who is authority to decide as to what is the official language of a particular state? It is for the state to decide, or it is for the state legislature to decide as to what shall be the official languages of that particular state. So the legislature by a state may adopt by law one or more languages or Hindi as the official language of the state. And in addition to whatever is decided, so this is very important, in addition to whatever language that is decided by the concerned state legislature, the state legislature may have one language or more language. In addition to that, English shall also used as an official purpose in the state, for which it was used by the state before the commencement, unless the legislature of the state provides otherwise by a law. That means, as per the constitution, it is for the state legislature to decide what shall be the official language. It can be any language which is spoken in that particular state. It can be more than one language also. But whatever they decide, automatically English should also continue to be the official language in that particular state, provided the state legislature explicitly makes a law and prohibits the use of English language. So this is what the constitution says. And most importantly, this power of the state legislature is not a one-time power. This is a power that can be exercised from time to time. That means initially if the law passed by the state legislature recognize one language as an official language, again they can pass a law and they can recognize certain other languages as the official languages. So it is for the state legislature to completely decide all those things. And apart from that, the Supreme Court has made it very clear, whenever an individual seeks an information to a particular government, the supply of information by the government to the particular individual should be in the language in which the individual understands. So this is also very, very important. So these are all not directly given in the constitution, but it is an interpretation which is given by the Supreme Court with regard to the constitutional provisions. Alright, so this is basically what you'll have to understand. So to put it in a very simple way, what shall be the official language of the state? The official language of the state shall be decided by the law that is passed by the concerned state legislature. The legislature can make a law and they can decide, and from time to time they can decide this. In addition to this, English can also will automatically be an official language of that particular state unless and until explicitly the law made by the state legislature prohibits that. So this is what you'll have to keep in your mind when it comes to the official language of the state. Now most importantly, what is the official language between the states and the union, and what is the official language between the states versus a state? So this is again very important. So now we have seen what shall be the official language of the center, and then we have seen what shall be the official language of the states. Now if there is a communication between the union to the states, what shall be the official language? If there is a communication between two or more states, what shall be the official language? That is dealt under Article 346 of the Constitution. So what does Article 346 of the Constitution says? The official language of the union is the official language to be used between the union and the states. So whatever is official language of the union is the official languages to be used between the union and the states, no other language. English is one of the official language used as in the union. So therefore English can be used as an official language between the union and the states. And apart from that, what shall be the official languages between two states? The official language between two states is also the official language of the union. So therefore two states can also use English as an official language if there is a communication happening between two states. But however, the states are free, the concerned states are free to allow Hindi to be an official languages between them. If they are okay with that, then the states can take Hindi as an official languages between them. But however, between the center and the state, it is English that would continue to be the official language, because the official languages as Act recognizes English to be the official language of the union. So normally that is used, especially in the context that there are many states which do not have Hindi as the official language. So therefore, normally the preferred language between the union and the states is normally the English language. So now the most important thing apart from all those things is who is supposed to determine the official languages of the state? It is for the state legislature to decide. But however, it is also interesting to look into Article 347 of the Constitution. Article 347 of the Constitution says, in addition to the official languages which is to be decided by the law that is passed by the concerned state legislature, the state legislature can make a law, and by that law they can decide the official languages. That's very clear. In addition to that, the president, if a substantial amount of people make a representation to the president and seek the president to recognize certain language as an official language in the particular state, then the president can also do it by virtue of Article 347 of the Constitution. So this is also true. So this provision also becomes very important for you to remember. So generally, who will decide the official language? It is only the state legislature. But if a substantial portion of people make a recommendation to the president requesting him to recognize certain language as an official language in that particular state, the president can also pass an order, specify certain other languages to be recognized as the official languages. Now the last part of our discussion is with regard to the languages that is to be used in the Supreme Court and the High Courts. So now, and of course in the Parliament. So now we have seen the languages to be used as the official languages in the Union, in the states, communication between Union and states, state versus state. So all these things are covered. Now what is remaining is language to be used as an official language in the Parliament, in the state legislature, Supreme Court and High Courts. So all these things are given by virtue of Article 348 of the Constitution. Let us try to understand that as well. So what is the general thing that you have to keep in your mind with regard to the official languages in the Supreme Courts, High Courts, acts and bills to be enacted in the Parliament and state legislature? Unless otherwise provided by a law made by the Parliament. If a law is made by the Parliament and if that law explicitly specifies a particular language which is to be used in case of the bills to be passed in the Parliament, state legislature, Supreme Court, and languages to be used in the proceedings in the Supreme Court and High Court. If a law made by the Parliament, if it specifically specifies a particular language, then that language has to be used for all these purposes. If no such law is made by the Parliament, then what shall continue to be the official languages for all these purposes? Introducing a bill in the Parliament, state legislature, or in the proceedings in the Supreme Court and High Court. Unless until a law is made by the Parliament, English shall continue to be the official language for all these purposes. For the proceedings in the Supreme Court and High Court, proceeding in the Supreme Court and High Court means the journey of a particular case in the Supreme Court and High Court. Right after the petition is filed, then hearings will happen in the case with regard to the case. So till the time the judgment is given, everything is a proceeding. Now all the proceedings in the Supreme Court and High Court shall be in English language. All the bills introduced in the Parliament and state legislature shall be in English language. All the ordinances issued by the President and the Governor by virtue of Article 123 and Article 213, all shall be in English language. And all the rules, bylaws, regulations issued under the Constitution or under any law made by the Parliament and state legislature, all the subordinate legislation, they shall all be in English language. So try to understand in general which language is to be used for all this purpose. For the proceedings in Supreme Court and High Court, English. For the bills to be introduced in the Parliament and state legislature, English. All the ordinances issued by the President and Governor, English. All the subordinate legislations made by the executives, English. Unless and until the Parliament specifically makes a law in this regard and specifies a particular language. So this is what basically you will have to understand under Article 348 of the Constitution. I guess this is quite clear to all of you. So this is the first thing that you'll have to understand with regard to Article 348 of the Constitution. Now what further is given in the Constitution is the governor with a prior consent. So here it is an exception which is given in the Constitution itself. So what shall be the language for all the purpose? It is English, unless until the Parliament makes a law. But what is an exception? The governor with the prior consent of the President of India shall authorize Hindi or any of the other languages to be used in the proceedings in the High Court. Now two things that you have to remember. It is only for the purpose of proceedings in the High Court, and who can authorize it? The governor may allow with the prior consent of the President. But the key word here is it is not for the Supreme Court, it is only for the High Courts. And High Courts, any language can be allowed, or English language can be allowed for the proceedings, or Hindi language, Hindi can be allowed, or any other language can be allowed apart from English. provided the governor puts an order like that with the consent of the president. But it is only in case of the proceedings in the High Court. This is not in case of judgments or the orders passed by the High Courts. Proceedings means from the right from the petition is filed till the time the hearing happens in this particular case, all these things are proceedings. And then finally an order or a decree or a judgment is passed. But those can be only in English. But the proceedings can be in any of the other languages, provided the governor allows for it with the consent of the president. But again, I am repeating it, this is not in case of Supreme Court. This is only in case of the High Courts. And apart from that, irrespective of whatever is given under Article 348, because Article 348 generally says, unless the Parliament by a law allows any of the other languages, then for the purpose of the languages that is to be used in the Parliament and state legislature is English. But despite that, whatever is given in this article, despite all those things, the state legislature of a particular state is given the power. That is, the legislature of a state may allow for other languages apart from English to be used for the purpose of introduction of the bills. So that means another exception is also there, irrespective of whatever is given under Article 348, who shall have the power to make a law, and by that law they can allow for use of any of the other languages to be used for the purpose of introduction of bills in the state legislature. Is the state legislature have the power to do that. The state legislature can make a law, and by that law they can allow for use of any of the other languages apart from English for the purpose of introducing the bills in the concerned state legislature by virtue of Article 348 of the Constitution. So this is very, very important. You'll have to keep it in your mind. But the only condition is if the state legislature makes a law, and by that law if they allow for any of the other languages to be used by the law that is made by the concerned state legislature, if they allow for any of the other languages to be used, then in that particular case, a translation of English is also to be submitted in the state legislature. So this is the condition that is given in the Constitution. So let me just summarize whatever you learned very quickly. So what shall be the generally the official languages in case of Supreme Court, High Court, the legislatures, including the Parliament and the state legislature? It is English. How that can be changed? By a law that is made by the Parliament. Unless Parliament provides otherwise, the language is English. Irrespective of this provision, the governor of a particular state with the consent of the president can allow for any of the other languages to be used, including Hindi, for the purpose of proceedings in the High Court. It is only for the purpose of proceeding, not for any of the other purpose. And apart from anything, irrespective of whatever is given in this particular provision in Article 348, the state legislature may have a power to make a law, and by that law they can allow for use of any of the other languages apart from English to be used for the purpose of the bills to be introduced in the houses of the state legislature. But in this case, a mandatory translation of English is also required for those bills. So this is what is related to the official languages, very, very important. So we have understood the official languages for the purpose of union. We have understood the official languages for the purpose of the states. We have understood the official languages between union and states and between state and state. And we also understood the official languages, what to be used in case of Supreme Court, High Court, and also the purpose of what? Purpose of the bills to be introduced in the Parliament and state legislature. Alright, so with that, we are coming to the end of this particular lecture. But before that, another small topic is given, which is also part of the official languages. There are certain special directives that is given in the Constitution. In fact, these are all directives outside Part 4 of the Constitution. It is Part 4 of the Constitution which deals with what is called as directive principles of state policy. But these directives are outside Part 4 of the Constitution. So what are the directives that is outside Part 4 of the Constitution? One is Article 350 of the Constitution, which talks about representation for redress of grievances. So when you talk of representation of redress of grievances, that under Article 350 of the Constitution, as a citizen, if you have any problem as a citizen, we can make our grievance to be redressed to the Parliament, grievance to be redressed by the government offices. So whenever we go for the grievance to be redressed, we can make a petition to them, and that petition can be made in any of the official languages of the union or the states. So basically for grievance, when you make a petition, so that can be made in any of the official language, be it in the official language of the union or in the official language of any of the states. So that's what Article 350 of the Constitution is saying. Article 350A is a directive which talks about what? It is providing a directive to the state to provide facilities for the promotion of the mother tongue of a particular child. So facilities for instruction in mother tongue. So especially at the lower level of education. So as much as possible, the instructions and the education shall be provided to the child in the mother tongue. So this is again a directive under Article 350A of the Constitution. Article 350 of the Constitution allows for establishment of a special officer for linguistic minorities, and this officer is to take care of the interest of the linguistic minorities in our country. Minorities on the basis of language. So he is to take care of all those things, prepare a report and submit the report to the appropriate authority. And Article 351 talks about directive for development of the promotion of Hindi language, for the better use of Hindi language in our country. So these are all directives, but these directives are generally outside part 4 of the Constitution. So sometimes there may be a random question from these areas also. So just try to remember these articles. Okay. So with that, we are almost done with the part official languages, but we'll have to do this question before we complete this lecture. So come to the question. Consider the following statements. The state legislature by law can declare more than one language as the official language of the state. Is that true? So just find it out. Statement number 2, the President of India can declare Hindi or any of the other languages apart from English to be used in the proceedings in the Supreme Court. Can it be done in the Supreme Court or can it be done only in the High Court? Is it the President or the Governor? Think about it and you can choose the answer. Which of the statements given above are incorrect? 1 only, 2 only, both 1 and 2, neither 1 nor 2. So please put your answers in the comment box. So with that, we are coming to the end of the chapter official languages. In the next lecture, I'll do the schedules in the Constitution, because every year there's one single question that comes from schedules also. So please do watch out for the next lecture. And if you like this particular lecture, you can share it with your friends as well as the family members. And this series is going to benefit lakhs and lakhs of aspirants in the coming years. In addition to this particular series, I've also started doing a series on current affairs for Indian polity, especially to help the students who are appearing for the prelims 2025. So if you are appearing for prelims 2025, that's a very short series. You can watch that also to boost your marks in the prelims examination. So with that, I'll wind up this particular lecture. If you have any queries related to the exam or related to the lecture or related to the subject, you can reach out to me. You can consider me as a friend, you can consider me as a mentor or a guide who can help you in clearing this examination. Thank you very much and all the very best.